Hello, my name is Mir and welcome to part 3 of my Gani making guide. In this video I'll show you how to create melee animations. The first thing you have to do is prepare your image. You can either do this by saving your image as a PNG 8-bit or a GIF. It also has to be in the same folder as the Gani. Whenever I make Gani, I typically create a special folder just for that weapon, so it's organized and it doesn't get mixed up with other weapons. So let's see here. New folder. I'm just gonna call this guide Gani. Oops. There it is. I'm gonna save my image. Make sure it's set to 8-bit or GIF again. I typically use paint.net. It's a very convenient program when making Gani for saving images as well as adding sprites. Alright, so now that it's saved, we can open up the Gani editor. This is in your directory. There it is. The next thing I'm going to do is open up my template. You can find this template in the thread on Arago for my second Gani guide. It's posted there. It's the same one I'll be using in all of my guides. Alright, here's my template. Good. Next thing I'm going to do is save my Gani into the folder. Gani. On most servers, you have to keep a specific format when saving your Gani. For eras, it is era, player, and then the name of the image, which is Demon Axe, and then whatever the animation you're working on is. I'm going to start with the idle, so idle, and then save. In case you're wondering, this is the image for the Halloween shop here in 2014. Halloween's over now, so I can use it and not get in trouble. Alright, let's start adding sprites. Add sprite definition. Here type the exact name of the image. Era, bass, dmax, png. Alright, description's not necessary. Make sure you only have one sprite index per sprite. Here we'll put in the information. Take your select tool and select the sprite. For this video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be showing you how to use the array tool. With this tool you can add multiple sprites at once. It's a little bit more specific when you select the actual sprites because you have to line them up. When I say line them up, I mean you have to just sort of imagine a grid pattern and try to have them fit into it as best as you possibly can. So let's go over there and then up. Now what I'm sort of doing is I'm imagining this shape pasted 3 times in a row to the right and 3 times down and then across. Sort of a 9 square grid pattern all around here based off of this. So you always start with the top left one and then select the coordinates. Alright, so top left, 4, 4. These are your X and Y. 4, 4. Next, go back in here, 76 by 85. That is your width and height. You can see why I love this program, paint.net. It's very convenient. And here, typically you would just leave this as 1 by 1 if you're going to individually add sprites, which is an option. You don't have to use this tool, you can just specifically click out each one, but I find it to be much faster to add all 8 sprites at once. So 3 by 3. 3, there you go. In case you're wondering why I did that, it's because it's a 3 by 3 grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now when I hit add, this is going to look a little bit weird because the sprites don't line up perfectly. You can see how they kind of go over here, and to fix this, you simply hit edit and then adjust the sprite size to make that go away. I'm gonna make the width a little bit less. I'm gonna say like 55 should be about right. And now it's just that sprite alone. Then I'm gonna go down here. I'm gonna adjust the X for this one so that the sprite is showing entirely. Now you can see the entire sprite is showing. Here I need to adjust the height. I'm gonna make that about 50. Should be about right. Let's see here. Yeah, that's good. Next I'll go over here. This is the middle sprite. You don't need to do anything with this one. You can just delete it. It's going to be different depending on the item, but you can just imagine that this is the middle block right here. There's obviously no sprite there, so you can get rid of it. Alright, let's see how this one looks. So this one needs to have the height adjusted to about 35, and the X needs to be moved over a little bit. Yeah, wrong way. Edit. 54. Let's see how that looks. Alright, looks like I overcorrected, so I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna bring the height back a little bit, say 145. Let's try that. There we go. If you get the right image, you won't have to do this step. It's just kind of dependent on what image you end up with. Some of these sprites I like to think of as unrepairable, and I just delete them. If a sprite is so messed up you can't really do anything with it to make it look normal, I'll just delete it and fix that later. Y, I'll make this 155, and then the width can go down about 165. Edit. Height. There we go. You can see these sprites are starting to look a little bit better. And now we just added like 5 or 6 sprites in a relatively short amount of time. If we go back here, we can quickly add in the sprites that I missed. Just highlight them. Add sprite. 39. 22 by 141. To be honest, you can add the sprites however you like. There's information on how to add sprites in my last video, so whatever it takes to get all the sprites added. There's different ways to do it, but none of them are necessarily wrong. 63 by 60. Grid width is 1 by 1 because I don't want to use an array. Add. Okay, I like to drag them out just to make sure that none of them are overlapping and there's only one sprite per index over here. And the last one. There we go. 8 by 150. You can see I adjust the sprite index every time so that no two sprites have the same index. 170. 80. 49 by 73. If you have any questions over this video, you can message me in game or over Skype. I will put my Skype username in the thread that I post this. Alright, good. Now you can see we have all of the sprites in the bar there. Now we can start having some fun and actually create the Gani. So I'm going to make sure my direction is down. We're going to start with the front. There are multiple ways to actually, do this. Just depends on your style, but as a general rule, this is what your Gani should look like when you're done. So I'm going to start by dragging the body. I always start with the character's body, head, and hat. Alright, so body, head, and hat, here we go. For idle animations, I like using the sprite right here, either the leg on the right or the leg on the left. Get that there. Some people like to use this side sprite right here. In Era, I wouldn't really recommend this because of suit bodies and stuff. It just looks really weird. I did that when I was first hired, and my boss told me to stop because it looked kind of weird, and I agree with him. So let's scroll down. Now we can add the weapon sprite. So we'll drag this on here. There we go. Next we'll add a little arm right here. So click that. I'm not going to be super detailed in this because typically your own style is up to you. So this Gani looks kind of weird. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to be making super creative Gani here because this is just sort of to instruct you. When you actually make weapons, you might want to, for the game, you'll want to be very original. Instead of just basic arms like this, you might want to have him hold it behind his head or off to the side or something. But for now, I'm just showing you the basics. Alright, so I'm going to do the left direction now. Which body sprite you use for this is kind of up to you. Some people use this one right here. You see where it's just sort of like that a little bit, like this. But for melee, I typically use this right here. Also for guns, I just really like this sprite right here for making weapons. So body, head, hat. Now one thing you have to keep in mind is what side of the body the weapon is on. So you can see the body is being held on the left side, which means when you face to the left, or it's being held on the right side, sorry, that's the right arm. When you face the left, it'll be behind the body. Let's go over here, and we'll put it behind the body. And I don't know if I like that too much. Let's go like this. You can put an arm if you like, just to try and make it look a little bit better. Put it under the head. I don't know if I can say this enough, but in the end it's really just down to your style. If it looks nice and it works, then it's good for the game. Left. Just for time's sake, I'm not going to be doing the right side. Just know that if this animation was flipped around, this would be on the front instead of the side. I'm also not going to be doing the up because it's pretty much the same thing as this except the head sprite flipped around. This is just to give you a general idea of how to do this. Keep in mind symmetry and stuff. For example, this foot is on the right here for the back frame. That foot would be on the left, and you would use this sprite right here for the body. So alright. Now, since this is an idle animation, I'll remember to save often, by the way. Since this is an idle animation, I sort of like to make it look like it's breathing, the character. So we'll copy animation frame and insert after. Then using my arrow keys, I move these down just to sort of simulate breathing. You'll see how I do this. I recommend you look at a bunch of Era's weapons to sort of get a feel for the different techniques and styles you can use. So it goes down like that, copy, next. Here I'm going to move the head too, and weapon. This is a very basic animation, not a whole lot going on here. Down. And that's pretty much all I'm going to do for this animation. I'm going to copy this one again, put it at the end. I recommend you be a little bit more creative with these and a little bit more technical, but just practice a lot. I'm going to set my loop to true, and I'm going to change the duration of these. You can see the length is up here. I don't know if I covered this in my last video, but this is how long the actual frame lasts. So I'm going to set this to 0.3 of a second. 0.3 of a second, 0.2 of a second, and 0.3. Alright. Now if we play this, we'll have a little animation of him holding the weapon. So that's pretty much it for an idle animation. Remember, for the right, you gotta remember to do all the different sides. I didn't do the right and back sides for time's sake. Alright. Now let's work on the attack animation. So save it, and then hit save as. Change this to attack. Be really careful in watching this part because it's pretty specific. So save it. Now you notice, oh hey, he just copied the same idle animation. That's no good. You're right. Now we edit the idle animation to create the attack animation. First set loop to false, so it just plays it once. Good. And then delete all of the after frames. So now we just have one frame. Change the duration back to 0.05. Just so you know, the shortest amount of time a frame can last is 0.05 seconds. And save. Alright, good. Now what I like to do is copy and paste. There we go. And this is where the actual animation starts. So we'll delete that. Now, let's see here. Here we'll begin to create the swinging animation. So I'm going to have it swing over from the left. There we go. Good. Boom. Up. Delete that. Okay. One thing I like to do is have the animation start with the head sort of slide back a little bit, just to give sort of a illusion that it's swinging the weapon back before attacking. So you can see that. Alright, fine. And then get rid of this. So now we have just the attack animation so far. This is the first frame of it. Okay. Whenever you make a Gani, typically you're not going to use the add animation frame tool. You'll just be hitting copy and then editing your previous frame, and then just keep editing that frame over and over again until you have the animation. So delete and put that behind. Good. Make the head move forward. See how it looks. Good. Down. Delete. Here we go. At this point, I'm going to change the arm frames. So we have this right here. Move the head forward. Drop this down a little bit. Just keep switching back between the previous frame and the frame you're on like this to see if it looks normal. Alright. Again, say this a third time. You have to do this for all of the different directions. I'm just doing it for 2 for the video. Okay? Don't forget that. Copy, paste, edit. Alright, now at this point I'm going to do a little trick I learned a while back where you actually put 2 of the weapon sprites on one frame. I'll show you that in a minute. You don't have to do this for all weapons, but just do it when it looks natural. It creates the illusion that the weapon is moving faster. So you see what I'm going to do here. It's a very, it looks very fancy if you do it correctly, and it's very professional. So you can see I'm putting 2 on there. Just sort of create a sense of motion. It looks weird right now, but in a minute you'll see. It looks pretty good. Same here. Here I'm going to have the body slide forward too. It's all about creating illusions. It's all about movement. There we go. Oh, let's move down a little more. I apologize if I don't talk much throughout this. There's not a whole lot to say. It's really more about watching and learning. Go away. There we go. Here I'm going to actually have it lift above the body because I want to sort of have it swing back around. Down. Alright. Copy, paste. What the hell? Alright, so this obviously needs to be fixed a little bit. I think this is supposed to be 65. Or not. I'm just going to delete that and re-add it. I apologize about that, I must have put a wrong number in somewhere. I'm also going to have the body move forward here a little bit. The main thing about creating Gani is practice. It's not the kind of thing where you can learn it in a couple days. It's an art. That's looking good. I apologize for the lag in this video, by the way. My screen recorder tends to do that. Okay. Down. Oh yeah, another thing. If you show interest in working for this server, we are granting access for some people to the developer version of Era. It's this server we have. It's identical to Era except there's no players on it. It's for training people and testing out stuff, and we're giving certain players access to it if they express interest in this. There they can study Gani and learn about it a little bit more and see some examples and actually edit them. So you can contact me if you're interested in that, and I may be able to give you access to that. Let's see here. There we go. It's unfortunate this is laggy, but oh well. And we'll finish it up like that. And there you have an attack animation. Save it, and we're done. The final thing you have to do for Amelia is create the walk. I'm gonna be, oops, go. To do this, I just open up the regular walk animation. You can find this in a number of places on the internet. On Grail Bible, you can just type in walk Gani, and there'll be a ton of them. So walk.gani, open it up. This is similar to template, except it's just a basic walk animation. Say that. I'm gonna save it to folder. I'm treating it like a template. Remember to keep the name the same, except just change the end. Walk. Save. You don't typically use the shield sprites in Era, so save. Now we're going to use the import sprite definitions tool on either the attacker or the idle. This adds all the sprites from the animation into this one. So now you can see these are here. Now I remember the weapon is held in the right arm right here, so I'll put that there. Let's see. Alright. Walk animations are the easiest to make in my opinion. Just go through one at a time, pretty quick. You'll see in a minute what I'm going to do. This is very basic stuff. Just so you know, you don't have to be very creative with the walk animations. They can generally be basic. So click through. Oh, that's a long video. Alright. So here we have our walk. Good. I'm going to add a hand over it. Right here. Fortunately, not a lot of players have trouble figuring out how to do this. It doesn't take a lot of time to learn. Oops, go back. There we go. Just one thing I'll tell you, I'm not going to do this for all the different directions because it's tedious and you pretty much get the point. What I always do is I watch the direction of the hand, and that's how I determine which sprite to use. Always use 2 sprites for each direction, never have 3 different directions going up and down, only 2. So for this one I use the horizontal, this one I use the horizontal, 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 and then here I'd probably use the diagonal one like this, and then diagonal. Save it and you're done with the walk. Remember, said it again, you gotta do it for all directions. I'm only doing it for one for time's sake. So play, there's my walk animation. One other thing I didn't mention in the previous, or earlier, is that you need to add sound. So right about here, I would click this, then I'd find a sound file for sword swinging, and I'd add it in there. But I don't really have a sound file to show you guys right now, just know that you have to do that. One final thing is to make sure you have set back twos. Era, player, demon, axe, idle. No .Gani at the end. I explained in either the first or the second video what this does. I think it's the second video, I explained what that does, so make sure you include that for attack animations. That's all you need for though. You don't need for the run animation. So save, and we're done. That's about all I have to cover in this video. Thanks for watching. In the next one I will go over how to create gun animations, which are a little bit easier than melee, fortunately. Oh yeah, one other thing I forgot to mention is you can create special attack animations, which look very nice as well, but they're not required. Just try to keep it creative, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.